Hello everyone, we're here with the final game of Play-Agricola Tournament number 10, the revised edition tournament. And before we start, quick notes of the standings. BeeTeTe is at 11 tourney points, Sebosch at 9, myself at 4, and Erpelboer 2. The winner will get 7 tournament points, so there is a very, very, very small set of scenarios where I have a winning chance. Erpelboer, unfortunately, is already out of winning chances, so it's basically down to BeeTeTe and Sebosch, and myself and Erpel playing for honors, I guess. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Okay, so get good cards, play good cards. I've been in the 4th seat for both of the first 2 games, which has a slightly lower winning chance in a 4-player game, so I've been pretty upset about that. Hopefully we don't get stuck in 4th again. The pick for this occupation is very clearly Field Watchman. Field Watchman, a top pick no matter what deck it shows up in with whatever other mix of cards. The synergy with Take 1 Grain and Plowing a Field is just extremely, extremely strong. And I could not be happier to end this tournament on hopefully a high note. It looks like there are some combos floating around, notably Clay Cellar and Bell Founder. So with this combo, the Bell Founder is something BeeTeTe used last game where you discard, oh my goodness, all of your clay and get 3 food or a bonus point. And then there's 2 ways to get clay every round to activate Bell Founder in this pack. One is Clay Lumin and Clay Cellar. So clearly BeeTeTe or Erpelboer is going to take Bell Founder with his second pick and then wheel Clay Deliveryman or Clay Cellar. And I'll be the only one to know that Erpelboer has this setup going. I cannot pass Field Watchman to do this. There is no way, no how I will do that. Especially because there's 2 other things to make it even better that I have grain with Field Watchman. We have the Livestock Feeder, which is an occupation that immediately gives me a grain, and then each grain in my supply can hold an animal. So if I get 2 or 3 grain sowed in stage 1, by stage 2 I'll have, 2 or 3 spaces to hold animals, which can be really nice. Also, there's the Swagman, which lets you build rooms or take a grain with the same peep using the other space, even if okay, I explained this terribly. You just read the card. Immediately after each time you build rooms or take a grain, you can use the other space, even if the space is occupied, so you would supposedly Field Watchman and then jump that peep to build rooms. So I would hope to get Swagman on the rebound. I think it's somewhat reasonable. I'm shaking a bit, but that's because it's a little cold in the San Francisco evening, and I'm wearing this t-shirt because, I want to celebrate Agricola. And then I'm also nervous just because I'm happy to be playing this game. In this pack, Plowmaker is pretty good. Conservator's okay. And Pet Lover we've covered many times. The pick here is Estate Master. Once I have no unused farmyard spaces left, I get a point for each vegetable I harvest. This is a potential bonus point machine. Pattern Maker is okay. Sebosch tried using it mid-game last game and it didn't pay off at all, but the idea is you exchange 2 wood for a grain food point anytime somebody else renovates. So hypothetically that should happen once in a while, though Conservator means that there's 1 less potential renovation out there. Because normally there would be 6 for 3 players renovating twice, but Conservator makes it 5. Not that you'd probably want to throw 10 wood away anyway for 5 food, 5 grain, 5 points, but because that's a lot of wood to throw away. Wood is so crucial. So I would expect I don't know, 3 of these 4 to be taken. I mean, perfect would be conservator on the rebound. I don't know what I would do with pasture master. Oven firing boy might barely have a place in my game, but I think estate master is the only reasonable pick here. Field watchman should do a good job of filling up my farmyard early, so I should get 2 harvests, maybe 3 with estate master active. Now let me do my OCD thing of getting my rooms on the right pixels, and the same with my other windows. Feel free to say hi in Twitch chat if you're there. I'll be monitoring the chat once in a while. Now that the game started, of course, strategy is not preferred. I should be playing this game by myself, of course. If this is the first game you're watching through video on demand or whatever it be, my opponents are Erpelboer, BeeTeTe, and Sebosch. Sebosch is the official world champion. Erpelboer and BeeTeTe also very accomplished play-agricola online players with long records of success. BeeTeTe's account is pretty new, but I'm pretty sure he's a former active player under a different name. So let's see here. Now, this is mostly garbage. Yeah, I want to take cube cutter. So let's go over the other cards and show why they're garbage. Every time another player used to take a reed space, you can build a room with a discount if you build in clay or stone. It's easy to block people or block the user of this card by just not using the take 1 reed space. Forest District Manager, if the 3 wood and 2 wood accumulation spaces are both gone at the end of the work phase, you get 3 food. Cool Hunter. I'm just reading the chat and it's very silly. Cool Hunter, every time before you use the action space with the highest round number, you get a food. This is a bad card. Cooperative Plow, every time you use plow while the take 1 grain is occupied, you can plow an additional field. In rounds 1 to 4, you must pay an additional food. What is that? Cube Cutter turns wood into food for a point every harvest, and you immediately get a wood. Lutinist, you get wood food when somebody takes traveling players, and you can buy a veggie for 2 food. Pretty blockable. Traveling players stacks up pretty easily with these cards. The metagame, of course, of the revised edition, as I've said before, is a lot more resource heavy and less bonus point heavy. So Lutinist is a consideration. And Sweep, every time before you use the action space card left of the card that has been most recently placed, you get 2 clay. So, for instance, if sheep is round 2 and in round 5 you take sheep, then you get 2 clay. But it's little synergy, especially if something weird happens like major improvement round 1, then it's then sweep, you can only sweep for major improvement in round 2. I really don't like this card. It seems pretty bad. So the 3 usable cards here are Forest District Manager, which is, I would say, pretty weak. Cube Cutter, which is somewhat weak, and Lutinist, which is also quite weak. Lutinist, the benefit would be being able to buy veggies. So I'm going to take Cube Cutter and hope for Lutinist. I could swing Cooperative Plower if I want to gamble a bit to fill out my farm, but these are not strong. Okay, yeah, these occupations are really bad. They just got worse and worse. So that I guess by default gives myself and Erpelboer the best hands, because I think Field Watchman is probably the best card in this draft. I mean, there's 6 cards I didn't see, but Field Watchman is pretty high up anyway. And yeah, go team, Adam. Let's see. Patch Caregiver is, I would buy a veggie for 3 food, and this card is a field. That's, Sheepkeeper, keep 7. Once you get 7th sheep, you get 3 points. Sorry, I completely lost the train of thought I was on earlier. Oh, I remember now. It was about best cards in the game. So there are 6 cards that I didn't see, but Field Watchman is one of the best anyway. And then I would say the Bellfounder Clay Deliverman combo is pretty good too. Shovel Bearer apparently is not very strong, but you can play some clay games to get a lot of food. I mean, I guess I'll take Patch Caregiver. Cattle Provider is just really strange. When you play the card, you get an animal of your choice. And if you have a major, this card holds 2 animals of any type for each other player with at least as many majors you have. Very strange, because if you are the leader in majors, then this doesn't have an effect. And why would you do that? It's a weak card anyway. Cattle Whisperer and Sheep Whisperer are both buffed a bit from their original versions, but not significantly to become good cards. They become more towards average. So yeah. Wow, okay. So I have the opportunity to snipe Clay Deliveryman from Erpelboer. On the other hand, my only chance at winning the tournament is placing first and having Erpelboer come in second. So I kind of want to have Erpelboer do well in this really dumb way. So I'm going to take Swagman because it gives me extra actions. Damn, 1 card didn't come back. Yeah, I don't think that was me doing that. You'll get your Clay Deliverman, don't worry. And then Livestock Feeder would have been okay if I didn't have Swagman to take, but jumping actions is definitely a bonus. So here the pick, as I mentioned, if Conservator came back, I would be happy to take it. And indeed, I'm happy to take it. There's a lot of clay in this game, so I don't really need to jump clay. I mean, the economy of the game will be pretty clay heavy, I think. But it does save an action. Or let's say it saves multiple actions. Like, it saves the actions of taking clay in the first place, and then the extra renovation action. So that's the true strength of Conservator. At least in my opinion. And as said, Forest District Manager is okay, I guess. It's a pretty bad card, and I don't expect to play it. So these are our occupations, highlighted by the almighty Field Watchman, and we want to be drafting in a way we might be able to fill our farm out very quickly and harvest vegetables a ton. Because it's possible to land 10 points and upwards on the Estate Master, but the situations for those are pretty rare. I don't remember too many ways to get early vegetables in. Whoa. There's a lot to talk about here. Okay, so Private Forest is pretty weak with the 1 occupation prerequisite, and this game being resource heavy overall. Oh my goodness. Okay, Toad is very strong. If you play it in round 1, you'll get 5 read for the rest of the game. Carrot Museum, you play in round 8 or before, it costs quite a few resources, but you get stone per each veggie field you have, and wood equal to number of veggies and supply you have. Pet Shelter, when you play this card, depending on how many rooms you have, you get a different animal, cattle, sheep, or cattle. If you have 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms, it's also 2 wood for a point when you have 3 ox, so that's always a good thing to do. Crosscut wood is the miner that lets you take a number of wood equal to the number of stone in your supply, so it lets people hog stone, I guess. Hauberg is a playtest miner that costs 3 food, but you get 4 wood and 2 pigs from it. 2 wood and a boar alternating on future rounds. Renovation Company, if you play it in a wood house with 2 rooms, you get 3 clay for the cost of 4 wood, and then you get to renovate for free. So this would combo with Conservator, but I don't have any stone house cards, so there's really no point in doing it unless I somehow plan on having a 2-room game, which I can't really explain how that would work. And then Baking Sheet. Every time you bake bread, you can use this card to change a grain for 2 food and a point. The prerequisite is no grain field, so this might be hard for me to do with a Field Watchman. I'll want to be getting those fields very early, so Baking Sheet is probably not great. Narcotics is the only one I haven't talked about out of these 9, and it's randomly play an ox for 2 food, and it's not super strong. So my pick based on strength has to be Toad. It's really a top miner. You pay a food and get 5 read if you play it in round 1. That's just really strong. And coming back, I would expect Renovation Company to get taken pretty early. Hauberg, Carrot Museum, or Pet Shelter. I guess out of those 4, one has to come back. Okay, so the one thing that I should be looking out for, given that I have a State Master, well, 2 things, are veggies, a way to get early veggies, and the miner called Ranch, which in the revised version it was republished as Big Country. Ranch is the one when you have all farmyard spaces used, you get a point and 2 food for every round remaining, so it's very strong. If you can fill out your farm by round 7, you can get 7 points and 14 food from it, which is a strong enough payoff to be terrific. Here I have to take Woodfield. I would love to take Wood Workshop or Strawberry Patch. They both work very well with my game. Woodfield is a food for a point with a prereq of 1 ox, and it lets you sow 2 wood on it as if it were grain. So with a Field Watchman, I really need to be using this to get extra wood. So I also highlighted 3-field rotation, and even though it's not strong, I should fulfill its conditions to get 3 food in the harvest, probably 2 or 3 times during the game. So a payoff of 6 food or 9 food is always fantastic. Dwelling Mound I think is too restrictive. You pay a food for each new field tile that you place in your farmyard at the cost of 3 points and a food, or playing in round 3 or before, and a food. And it only gives you 3 points for this probably 5 or 6 food that it leeches throughout the game. So one somewhat common, I guess, equalizer in terms of value is a point for 3 food in terms of how well these cards pay. So 3 points is 9 food. So it's like maybe 1 point net overall, and with a really weird restriction, so I would say it's not a great card. Let's see, Pottery Yard. If you have the pottery, during scoring you have 2 adjacent unused spaces, you basically get the points back for them, and you get a point right then and there. Okay, so here I'm probably going to take baseboards. I can pay a grain for it, and I would get 1 wood for each room I have. And if I'm not fully grown into my rooms yet, I can get an additional wood. So this would be very nice for the start player action to take family growth in your next action. Then you would get, I don't know, 4 wood from it for the cost of a grain, and I should have early grain. Okay, so Field Watchman, Swagman, Toad, Woodfield. That's 4 actions that I want in a perfect stage 1. And I will also want to take wood take grain, and sow. That would be 8 actions. So if I can, no, let's shift Swagman back, because there's no way I want to define all 8 of my actions. So Lagras Fountain was reprinted as the Sheep Well, which is a much better name for what it is. It costs 2 stone, gives you 2 points, and it counts as a well. And you basically get as many food for remaining rounds as many sheep you have. So it's the Sheep Well. Shifting Cultivation is the reprinted Field Passing Miner. It costs an extra food, but it's still pretty decent. Okay, I guess I don't need Toad. Getting the Straw Thatched Roof with the Field Watchman is always a dream. And all players passed it on because they didn't see any Field Watchmen. So that's fun. What are we missing out on? Because of course we don't get to see this pack again, given that it's the 4th pack we see. It's a good pack. Loppers is a good card. Every time you build a fence or more, you can use this card to change a wood in a fence and supply for 2 food and a point. So ideally you would want to fence twice, and with one of your actions fence 7 and pay an extra wood to build two 1x1 pastures, and then with your second action fence a big 2x2 square attached to that first fencing. So then that fencing is 6 wood, so you would end up paying 15 wood, but you would get 13 fences, 4 food, and 2 points. I guess for the cost of another wood when you play the card, but it's a pretty good trade-off for stuff you would probably do anyway, fencing twice. Or at least there's certainly no problem fencing twice if you want to. Barley Mill, I mean, it's nice, but it's really expensive. 1 wood and 4 clay, or 1 wood and 2 stone, and it only pays off a point. But you do get an extra food for every grain field you harvest, and I should have plenty of those. It's just that Straw Thatched Roof is too strong. It means I won't have to play Toad early. I can just play Field Watchman and Wood Field, and then take wood and sow hopefully 3 grain and 2 wood. That would be ideal. So it kind of sucks that don't get the first pick miner very useful, because we had a surprise Straw Thatched Roof. I'm really glad I drafted Patch Caregiver now, because it gives me a way to get a veg, though it would, I mean, it costs 4 food in my action. I mean, I might want to do it to play it early and have another field to sow on, because, you know, why not have a mega grain income? But Baking Sheet, oh, you know, I could play it after all of my first grains come off. Alternatively, I can go for the Renovation Company block. That seems dubious. That seems very dubious. Strawberry Patch came back, which is terrific for me. As mentioned, Dwelling Mound is a strange cost and has to be played early. I have plenty of stuff to do early already. And then Beating Rod can change a reed for a cow, and I should have plenty of extra reed with the Straw Thatched Roof in hand. The Dutch Windmill, I guess, is a consideration, given that it's a way to spend wood and stone for points, and it gives me baked bread value. Storage Barn gives me resources for having the well or guilds. So I'll take Beating Rod. Okay, and we're first. Okay, good luck, have fun, everyone, and let's get started. And let's kick this off the right way. So second action will be grain. Did I disconnect? What happened to my text? Testing. Oh, I mean, I should be online still. Okay. So Erpelboer took Reedstone food, and BeeTeTe opens with the Plowmaker. So I need to think about where I'm putting this. My cards don't have any restrictions, so I'll do what I find to be typically the most flexible and put my field on top of my rooms. B going for 2 fields. Sebosch will start player, take 2 wood, most likely. So I'll retain starting player. And I'm in an awkward spot already because I don't really want Reedstone food. I should take it once in the game. But wood field, grain plow, sow, and food. I don't have time to take Reedstone food. So this is wood and grain plow. Ah, yes, and I guess my move is also good because it helps Erpel. BeeTeTe playing an Ock. Freshman. Every time you get a bake action, you can play an Ock for free. You substitute the bake action with a free occupation. And Sebosch goes on occupation as well. He's playing the Pet Lover. I don't get why you play this card. It really doesn't seem very good. Erpel buys the Fireplace in lieu of 2 reed. 3 reed might be on the board. Oh, no, don't plow again. If BeeTeTe has another plowing, then he might play Ranch. Oh, but he's short on food, so. But BeeTeTe with Ranch is something we should look out for. So the onus is now on Sebosch. Well, I guess not. I think I take 4 wood here. 4 clay is so tempting. And then grain plow again. Or start player Woodfield. Okay, so this was Erpelboer's first occupation, meaning we only have 2 occupations. No, 4 occupations we didn't see yet. We don't know 3 of Sebosch's ox and 1 of Bee's, and we know all of Erpel's possible ox now. How much do I care about this wood field? I don't need it that badly. So I still haven't decided how I want to feed. I'm not afraid of paying 2 grain and 2 food. That's never a problem when you have such a high grain income with the field watchman. Sorry, I'm really OCD about this. If it bothers you, I apologize, but it would bother me more if I didn't do this. B is deciding on 4 clay or not. Erpelboer took 3 wood, so he has a room ready to go. I guess I can still start player next round if I decide to go Woodfield. The constable. So this is just as it was in the original edition, except now it gives 3 bonus points to the player to all players with no negatives. So I could take 4 food and sow. The benefits of this is that it lets me keep all 3 grain. That's baseboard easy, wood field easy, another occupation easy. So I think I'll do that. And then sow second action because nobody else can. The other option is sowing now and then start player straw thatched roof to try to nail first room. I think that might be overkill. Field Watchman, simple first round. First stage. Again, the effect of Erpelboer's occupation, after each room you can build an improvement for 1 wood less, including a major. So, for instance, he could... I actually don't know what he could play. No, yes, you can play the stable for 1 wood less, certainly. Constable should be relatively easy if I'm going for an estate master game. These guys aren't crazy about buying the clay oven from my experience playing with them, so that's a plus. B, I would definitely expect to take 4 food here, because Sebosch is not afraid of taking 4 food in my experience, to really hamstring someone else. My last action, of course, is sowing. Sebosch taking Reedstone food. I mean, we're giving him a lot here. So, of course, now I have the weapon of start player Straw Thatched Roof, so always nice to build the next room. Here goes Erpelboer, as I suspected, with the clay deliveryman, and sometime in stage 2 he's going to play Bellfounder. B, I would definitely expect to take 4 wood here. That might have been his top option otherwise. He might also plow 2 fields, but does go for the wood. And Sebosch, I would expect to take 3 wood to threaten 2 rooms. Okay. Stone. We're good for now. Reedstone food, 5 clay, 4 wood are all great actions for me. I think I'll take... Well, it's 4 wood or 5 clay, and then I'll play the Swagman, and then I'll play start player's Straw Thatched Roof, and then I'll be able to Swagman. Four wood is definitely fine. Erpel, I would expect 4 sheep from his second action. Did he feed? Probably Reedstone food for B. 5 clay is definitely not a bad alternative. 5 clay, 2 reed. Thinking, but I'm not really sure what. Perhaps 5 clay versus Reedstone food. I think 5 clay and 2 reed would be a good play here, or 5 clay Reedstone food. For him, it balances the chance to build a room on time versus renovating to clay and being able to do that easily. Here he'll play an occupation. And drop down Overwinterer to get... I think this was reprinted as Winter Caretaker or something like that, but it's the same card from the Netherlands deck. You receive a grain instantly, and you can buy veggies in the harvest for 2 food. I think this was in my first or second pack, so... Let's see, is Swagman still the right move? Yeah. Yes, Sebosch, the room steal is coming. BeeTeTe sows a grain. What on earth? Is he going for 3-field rotation again? Oh, no, he gets the free Ock instead of Bake and plays Cattle Whisperer. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Sebosch correctly realizes there's no real point in building rooms right now. He sees that I'm going to be start player Swag Manning. If nothing else, I'll be able to feed with Raw Grain. All right, come on, renovation. So I'm happy. Also kind of funny that nobody's played start player. Here's the combo I gave Erpel. Strong. So BeeTeTe can take grain here and really mess with my plans, but he will play an improvement. So BeeTeTe played the wooden shed yet again, which kills him from renovating, but gives room for one person. My actions are going to be family grow with baseboards for 5 wood for the cost of 1 grain. It's pretty nice. And then, I don't know, maybe food. Maybe reedstone food. Maybe 3 stone. 3 stone. And then gather up some clay that's floating around. Go for the clay oven. I don't know what Sebosch is doing. He might grab it. Especially if he goes pet lover here on the 1 sheep space. So, I mean, I'm obviously off to a tremendous start here. Converting This will be potentially difficult. I do need to focus on getting the veggies in time to play Estate Master efficiently. I can also try to cube cut 3 times, maybe 4. And BeeTeTe is going for the livestock feeder, which gives him a grain and hinting at the clay oven. Sebosch will indeed pet lover, also eyeing the clay oven. So I'll grow. Erpel's going to 6 wood. No, start player rather. B's going to 6 wood, and Sebosch hopefully isn't taking 3 stone, but otherwise I should be in a decent spot here. I'm playing pretty powerful cards, at least in this setup. So I might need to eat 4 raw grain. A reedstone food might be good, but taking this 3 stone seems pretty wise also. I might be plowing up to 6 or 7 fields this game. Start player is finally rested away from me. And things right now are going as expected. Seb does take the 3 stones, so I'm looking at reedstone food here. Alternatively 4 wood. Let's see, I'll have 6 grains, so I can eat 4 of them. Or 3 of them. Or 5 of them. It's a matter of what I think everybody else is doing. Or one of them. Forest District Manager seems a bit silly right now. It's a risk without too much payoff immediately. So I'll elect the safe option. And get in line for the next growth, which will be in round 11. I think Erpel might have nabbed large greenhouse with his first minor pick, which doesn't seem right. Well, it doesn't seem like what I would do. Large greenhouse is not a super strong card, so. Here comes BeeTeTe with the clay oven, and Sebosch might grab the stone one. He might renovate with stone oven. I wouldn't put it past him. He could also build the well. Which means I really need to gun for that stone oven now. BeeTeTe buys a vegetable with the overwinterer. So the reed in my supply is for beating rod to get a cow. Otherwise, I could also run for the basket maker's workshop. I also don't really need clay if I play the conservator. I need to make sure that my point ceiling is high, basically. So Erpelboer family growths with Hauberg and takes the boars first. Strong card. And my memory's not exactly working for what the other things taken were. Yes, it made a lot of sense for Seb to grab the well because it keeps him at 5 clay to build a room. BeeTeTe start player's milking stool. Very strong. Seb grabs 5 reed. Wow. Yeah, I mean, somebody was getting it. Four wood is nice. Veg didn't come out. Oh boy. This feels a little wrong. Because I would want to grab a 6 clay if it becomes available. This would let me get the cooking hearth and the stone oven in a perfect world. This patch caregiver seems a bit pricey to pay a veg, to 3 food for a veg on top of paying for the occupation. And I need to make sure not to be food blocked. But with BeeTeTe playing his 6th occupation already through freshman. Oh no, he's baking. Sure. And then 2 moves for me. Family growth. Start player 6 wood, so I can't take this 3 wood. I can grab 4 food. And I could just grab another 4 food. This feels weird. Weird as in not winning. This round I want a veggie. 6 wood veggie, 6 clay, that would be perfect. And get the estate master running for the last 3 harvests, that should be totally fine. There goes B on his 3-field rotation. Ooh. Blueprint is nice. I used it last game, of course. It lets you save a stone on the guilds and play them for 1 stone less. So I should also look at fencing right now. If Sebosch were to grab the 6 clay, that would be unfortunate. And I'm really wondering whether or not I should play conservator or not, because right now it's looking no. Reason being, if Sebosch takes the 6 clay here, then I will try to wait for 5 clay and then renovate with stone oven. But it looks like I'll get that because my taking food will make Sebosch really want to take those pigs. So my last action is veg or fences, and maybe veg is better. Well, if Erpel fences, then I can't do it. I also want to consider beating Sebosch to joinery, or I mean any of the guilds really, because joinery I have the wood field to account for, along with some other reasons. I'm in very good shape to get constable. I am also on the lookout for anybody building another room. Sebosch will need to grow, but I won't need to start player, perhaps. Yeah, it's looking like I won't need to. So that's nice. BeeTeTe can't build a room right now. Seb grabs the Basket Maker's Workshop on Family Growth, of course. And cows do come out late. And if after this move nobody can buy stone oven, I'm going to start player baking sheet and then go into stone oven. However, Erpel takes 6 clay, or 5 clay, and then one on his clay deliveryman. So now BeeTeTe is going to plow. I guess he just needs to fill his farm if he's not building another room. I would actually guess Erpel to play the pottery on Reno. Meaning joinery is less likely for me. But if I get blocked on stone oven, that's pretty much a disaster. And I don't really need to maximize baking sheet right now because I can just do it on start player later and have it for future bake actions. So I don't think I'm losing much, if anything, by playing baking sheet after the stone oven. Even though, of course, I mean, ideally you want to maximize things, but need to be vigilant on as much as I can, really. So this is likely fences. Sebosch is out of moves. Nobody's going to build a room. If BeeTeTe takes 2 read, I have to take start player. But unlikely. Fences are a vegetable. Erpel grabs sheep. And now he'll be breeding sheep and pigs. My ideal round here is vegetable first, family growth baking sheet second, and then sow bake. Looks like Seb really wants to threaten this with a plow. He knows that I have a state master. How much is this one veggie worth to me now? Is he really going to sow with his next move? There's also 2 pigs I could take to breed 3 times for 5 pigs. Oh, and that's strong too. I think I'll just toss baking sheet and play Woodfield. Sebosch probably doesn't have a problem taking the 2 pigs. BeeTeTe's getting start player for round 12. So it looks like a state master is going to be just stages 5 and 6. That's fine. But if I can get it to 5 or 6 points, that's quite good. Start player stable from B. Sebosch grabs wood. So I guess I'll sow bake. I'm not sure what Sebosch is saying there. Erpel went on Reedstone food, so he's threatening another room. Bee grabs wood. So it's really nice that I'm ahead on fencing right now. It got me these boars only, but, you know, that's pretty good anyway. Okay, so we have Beating Rod to save us for the Constable. So we really just need sheep to make sure we get that Constable. With that in mind, things are going pretty well. And running at a food surplus is always the best way to go. So it's a bit unfortunate we didn't get baking sheet going, but it's really not a big deal. We will want to play Patch Caregiver because it's another field to harvest from, and Vegetable Machine is the name of the game. Estate Master sometime in these 2 rounds. So BeeTeTe gets the family growth without room. I would expect Seb to take the 2 cows and then go for the 2 sheep, but I really am not sure. He might plow. Instead, he takes Start Player, which is terrific for me. I mean, everybody else is looking a bit down. Squirrel Hair, if you have a boar, gives you 3 wood for a food and then lets you do the boars to food with pelts 3 times. Sebosch is giving me family growth without or Plowsow next round. I would expect him to take Plowsow, which means I should, I guess, take family growth. No reason not to at this point. B will grab the sheep. Where are you putting them? Oh, your livestock feeder can hold them. Okay, fine. 3 stone. Okay, fine. A veggie, a grain plow, and a sow bake. Erpel is not necessarily looking at a 2nd place finish here, so I shouldn't get my hopes up for winning the tournament. I might be able to squeeze a 2nd place with a strong win here, but I mean, I'm overall just trying to play a good game, solid game here. If I grain plow sow bake now, then Patch Caregiver is only basically worth 1 point of Estate Master, so it's probably not a good play. I do have Conservator to potentially play anyway. Conservator with the Fireplace or Cooking Hearth. And that's if I grab 3 stone next round. I still need to get a sheep. The Constable points will be critical. BeeTeTe grabs 2 stone, so that's not good. I guess I should not sow my wood onto the wood field because I could use it for strawberry patch. Oh, I mean, okay. How many grain am I baking? I mean, I might as well bake 2. Erpelboer plays baseboards on the family growth, so that'll give him 4 wood for the cost of 2 food, so it looks like he's killing a sheep for that. Makes a lot of sense. I think I bake 1 is the proper play here. So I'm actually looking at Renovate Strawberry Patch, given that stone might not be in the cards, which is really too bad. Okay. I bet there's a reason for him to do that. Okay, 3 people can reno. Yeah, fine. I'll do it now. Take a sheep, play Ock, take 6 wood. All fine actions. BeeTeTe should fence here. So I need to get this Ock down. I need to take a sheep. I think I'll take a sheep with my next action, actually. It's that crucial. BeeTeTe is going to start player. With barley mill. Wow. Interesting choice. Now if Erpel fences. Then B is stuck in some ways. Sounds like there's a homeless person outside my house yelling, so that's nice to hear at 12:47 a.m. I could also take 5 food fishing. It looks like I do have a grasp on winning this game. That's getting pretty clear, which is awesome. So BeeTeTe is basically announcing he's plow sowing, which is fine. Estate master. Making my game better. BeeTeTe looks like he's grabbing the 6 wood, so I'll probably be after the 5 food is my last action. I could go for joinery, though Sebosch probably has that in mind. He's well set for a Reno joinery. Oh, Swagman. Would let me use build rooms, build stables. So I probably have to go for this. It's points, and 5 food is not points. And it's possible I'll have enough food to feed just with raw vegetables. Or, you know, maybe eat a point of grain on top of that, but it's not going to be a deal breaker at all. It looks like I will have room for this in a pasture. Purely aesthetic. B's going to plow, so Seb likely... I mean, I guess family growths? I have no idea. Erpel has a grasp on Reno fences. Sebosch has a grasp on Reno imp. B is debating on fishing or not. What can I block? I need to block boar from B. I think. Um, so first priority is family growth, but otherwise I'm going to grab a boar. Well, actually, that's a 5-point move for BeeTeTe versus a 3-point move for me. So, I mean, I'm just going to grab that big. And have Erpel take family growth without, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, this is the only chance I have. I mean, I'm playing for such a wild result here. It is too unlikely. Erpelboer needs to come in front of B, and Sebosch does too. And guiltily, I'll look at the scorecard. Sebosch is looking at 29 right now. BeeTeTe at 34, 36 after milking stool. Erpelboer at 27 plus 31. Sebosch now at 31, 30, I don't know. Ugh. Ugh. Why not family growth, Erpel? Okay, so bake, green stable. Yeah, this should have enough food for me for the rest of the game. I don't need to play ox. Erpel setting up to renovate fence with his last move. Yeah, so it looks like I don't win, which, fairy tales don't always happen. And B played well enough, I think, to squeeze a second place here, which would definitely be enough for the tournament win. So, I mean, I come out with a terrific game, but it won't be enough. I mean, I might even challenge for the overall point lead by the end. But I did get pretty far behind in that first game, and in the second game and just going last in those first two games is tough. Sebosch could take a green and block this. Block this swag van play, but it looks like I'll get it. And my last move, I don't really know. I don't know if I'll have a point left at that point. I could block occupation. I could block 2 points from Sebosch. I could take 6 food traveling players. BeeTeTe's feeding 9. He'll get 2 from milk. He can eat 4 total from his fields for free, so, I mean, he's only losing 1 point. Oh no, and 3 field rotation he's fed. Doesn't look like much right now, but he's completely fed. Oh, I wonder if Sebosch has that... that Ock that gives 1 of each animal. That would be strong. Yeah, can't get blocked. So I'm completely fed. I'll get another 3 points from Estate Master. I'm getting the Constable. I'll probably block Occupation as the last move. Actually, no, it's only Erpelboer who's going ahead of me, so it really doesn't matter. BeeTeTe has 42. I'll have 55. That's a good score. Oh no, 56. I don't think I have any points. Oh, I can play Cube Cutter. I might get a point out of that. Probably not, though. I think Sebosch does have that Ock that gives you 1 of each animal if you can hold it. I don't know if B has knowledge of this Ock. For those viewing... Is it Game Catcher? No. BeeTeTe goes start player nada. that's it. Stable Sergeant. When you play this card, you can pay 2 food to accommodate everything on your farm, well, if you can accommodate it. I don't know if Erpel's game is strong enough. That would be pretty crazy if it was. So I guess You're not serious, Sebosch. There's no way I won this. Um, um, yeah, I mean, Erpel's reno fencing. I don't know what I'm really worrying about here. I missed a point. I could have grained again. Oh well. Oh, good scores by these guys. Yeah, Sebosch. Wow, I almost did it. But congratulations to BeeTeTe, the play-agricola tournament number 10 champion. I believe I come in second. Terrific. All right. Feel free to leave comments or anything. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed watching the tournament coverage I was able to provide. I had a ton of fun playing this tournament. Great competition, and I have to say I'm proud of myself for how I played. Just barely not quite enough at the end of this one. There's stuff out of my control, like BeeTeTe Sebosch flipping. Like, this was such an impossible Okay, I'm going to end the stream. Thanks for watching. I'll stay in the chat for a couple minutes if you want to talk about it. But otherwise, thanks again for watching. And I don't know when I'll come back to another video, but, you know, whenever it's in demand, I'll be happy to do another stream. All right, thanks, everyone. Till next time, see you later. Congrats again to BeeTeTe for the tournament win. All right.